Hey everyone, just want to give some quick thoughts on my Mono Water Kadaj deck that I played yesterday in the King Kong Winter Reunion event here in the SF Bay Area. It's a very simple, fun, and effective Kadaj water deck, and it features 3 copies of the brand new full art foil Kadajes, which you can pick up in the new boss deck today. It's got 14 forwards, 18 summons, 3 monsters, which is the new Echidna, and 15 backups. The objective of this deck is to get out Kadaj early in the game so he can be automatically removing targets from your opponent's break zone. You want to play him early as possible, so once you see your opponent drop something juicy into your break zone, get that on board as quick as you can and start going from there to gain value. If this deck runs multiple copies of cards that can draw and discard, such as the Moogle, the Poo-Poo, the Corsair, Gordon, and Merwib, and Leviathan, that is a good summon to help you also filter through your deck and save one of the cards that you want to play later in the game. It's an incredibly fast-paced deck, and typically you'll be going at a much quicker pace through your deck and through your hand than your opponent. You'll have more cards in the break zone, more backups, and more cards in the hand, generally speaking. And so this is great because you can get down your backups fairly quickly, and that makes your Ash plays and Leviathan World plays out of hand pretty cost effective. Against high aggro decks, you can control the board with Cloud of Darkness and Leviathan Whirl, which is not too bad to play out of hand early if needed. But ideally you like to play with Lena, which you can get maybe in 4-5 turns pretty quick, no problem. And Kadaj also helps slow things down and not force your opponent to reconsider whether they want to attack with all their forwards or save 1 or 2 to block. Against board wipes, Kadaj is excellent, and so is Echidna. So really the only targets to hit would be Lena, Ash, and Leviathan Whirl, all of which can be replayed easily for little cost once you get your backups down, which is incredibly easy to do. This deck also features 27 EX bursts, so it's okay to take damage early on. Chances are you'll hit 1 or 2 and maybe even 3 or 4 and gain a lot of value just off those plays alone. Some cool combos I discovered with this deck was to have Spiritus and Kadaj on the field, and then to play your Cloud of Darkness to essentially board wipe the field by targeting Spiritus as your lone target. Once Kadaj is removed from the game, or goes to break zone, I should say, Spiritus triggers to remove from game your opponent's last forward. And since you have so many copies of Kadaj, it's not hard to search out or play another one from hand or your deck in a quick fashion. Another nice little trick is to, if you have this Leviathan summon in hand, when your opponent declares attack, you play this, and you put onto the back of the top of your deck one of these removal EX bursts, and to gain some automatic value. This also complements nicely with Leviathan Whirl to initiate a pop, and it's great. Some tough matchups, I'd say, against Ice. Sid Randell, it is incredibly effective at negating Kadaj, Ash, and Leviathan Whirl. Spirit is as well. So the Lena play becomes incredibly difficult. The only outs to that are your summons removals, which are primarily Remora. Kuchulain, you have to wait a turn, so it's not quite as effective. If I had to remove one summon, that would probably be the one. But otherwise, they're all pretty much set. Some monsters such as Goblin, 1 CP Kadaj, Hilgigas, and Sahagan Chief can cause some trouble as well. The only outs for monsters are to keep replaying your Leviathan Whirl, which is easy to do with Lena and a whole bunch of backups and a whole bunch of cards in hand, so that's usually not an issue. Some games I was able to play him 3 or 4 times, and your opponent wants to keep killing it, so it's okay. Overall, I would say this deck performed well. I was able to make into the top cut, and 9 out of 10 times you'll be playing at a much faster pace than your opponent. So be sure to pace yourself, especially once you get to around the 12 card mark in your break zone. If you go too fast, you can easily deck yourself out, which happened to me about twice yesterday. But overall, it was incredibly easy to play, a lot of fun, especially with all these EX bursts and being able to utilize the new Kadaj multiple times a game and just frustrate your opponents overall. So if you're looking for something that's simple, fun, and effective, this mono water build is incredibly great and effective, and I highly recommend you go try it out. Be sure to follow us, like, and subscribe for more content or more future updates on events in the Bay Area.